Let's get started with a few questions. Yes. Hey guys, how's it going? It's another day of trying to learn Security Plus. Same thing we do every day, try and study for the exam. So, okay. Okay. Oh, hello. Hello. Let's see. Which of the following allows multiple authentication methods to permit users access to the local area network or wireless local area network? It's 802.1x. Yes. Congratulations, you just completed your first question. Wow. I think it forgets a lot. Just like new day. New answer. Is this? Is this? Is this? What is all this? Sorry, guys. Getting swamped with all kinds of vibrations. Okay, evaluate the differences and determine what makes the Wi-Fi Protected Access version 3 more secure than Wi-Fi Protected Access 2. Select all apply. One of these two. Nope. A user purchased a home wireless router. The user was not able to connect a laptop to the wireless router by pressing the Wi-Fi protected setup button. What can the user do to establish a proper connection with the wireless router? Select apply. Nope. User in an office usually connects to the company's Wi-Fi, but it is currently out of service. The user connects to the building's free wireless access point and enters a personal password at the prompt, but is still unable to connect. Analyze the scenario and determine the reason the user is unable to connect. A network administrator placed 3 wireless access points on a single floor. In a high-rise building, the floor was approximately 20 rooms, with some offices separated by walls. What are some appropriate strategies to ensure all users have secure, uninterrupted access to the wireless network? Select all apply. Separate channels by 20 megahertz and configure WPA3 enterprise security. Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers 802.1x includes which of the following wireless security standards? Select and apply. SSID, WPA. No? Okay. Let's see what we got. Which authentication protocol uses a server-side certificate to establish a protected tunnel but requires user authentication methods? To use Microsoft Challenge Handshake Authentication Protocol version 2, MS Chat version 2, or generic token card. GTC. Not familiar with TTLS. No? All right. Company A wants to share Wi-Fi access with a subsidiary company B located in the same building. Extensible authentication protocol is implemented at both companies using remote authentication dial-in user service servers. How can both networks be configured to allow users from either company to use their company credentials to gain access? All right, let's see what we got going. Oh, WPA3. So is this one and this one. Okay. Evaluate the differences and determine what makes Wi-Fi Protected Area version 3 more secure than Wi-Fi Protected Access 2. Wi-Fi Protected Access 3 uses simultaneous authentication of equals, SAE, and WPA3 uses Gauss counter mode protocol. I've never seen that. So. Wi-Fi Protected Access version 3, WPA3 uses simultaneous authentication of equals that replaces the four-way handshake protocol with a protocol based on Diffie-Hellman key agreement. WPA3 uses an updated cryptographical protocol called Advanced Encryption Standard Gauss Counter Mode Protocol Mode of Operation. Enterprise authentication methods must use 192-bit Advanced Encryption Standard. WPA2 uses the AES cipher with a 128-bit key deployed with the counter mode with cipher block chaining message authentication code protocol. First version of Wi-Fi Protected Access uses the RC4 stream cipher but adds temporal key integrity protocol to make it stronger. Okay. A user purchased a home wireless router. The user was not able to connect the laptop to the wireless router by pressing the Wi-Fi protected setup button. What can the user do to establish a proper connection with the wireless router? So use compatible NIC. As you pay manually. Wi-Fi protected access works with applicable devices that are compatible. WPS is dependent on the type of wireless interface card on the printer or laptop. Use can connect to the wireless router without WPS using a passphrase or PIN that is printed on the router device. User selects wireless router in the laptop's desktop and enters a passphrase or PIN when prompted. The WPA2 enterprise option is used in a large network or business environment that has 802.1x components like radius server. This is not suitable for the home. Changing the server set identification or name of the wireless router will not change its security settings. Okay, so enter PIN using PIN. A user in office usually connects to the company's Wi-Fi, but is currently out of service. The user connects to the building's free wireless access point and enters a personal password at the prompt, but it is still unable to connect. Analyze the scenario and determine the reason why the user is unable to connect. Must use a PSK, which is a pre-shared key. Pre-shared key is the password needed to gain access to a wireless access point. An example is Wi-Fi protected access to enabled pre-shared key using a personal password will not work. The term passphrase refers to a password pre-shared key is interchangeably described as a passphrase and is supported for Wi-Fi protected access and Wi-Fi protected access to wireless connections. A building wireless access point uses extended authentication protocol, maybe using Wi-Fi protected access to enterprise. This requires authenticating credentials to a radio server, etc. Considering the building wireless authentication protocol has free access, this is most likely not the case. Wireless devices not compatible with a wireless access protocol, authentication protocol that are broadcasting at 5 gigahertz will not recognize the wireless authentication protocol. In this case, the user found an attempt to connect to the building's Wi-Fi. Institute of Electrical Engineers 802.1x includes which of the following wireless security standards selected will apply? EAPOW and WPA3 Enterprise. Ooh. 802.1x defines the use of EAP over wireless to allow an access point to forward authentication data without allowing any other type of network access. 802.1x is configured by selecting the Wi-Fi protected access settings for WPA8, Wi-Fi protected access 2 enterprise, or Wi-Fi protected access 3 enterprise. As a security method on the access depending on the wireless router model type. 802.1x cannot be used with a security setting set as Wi-Fi protected access 2 personal. Setting is ideal for residential consumer or users that use a pre-shared key to access the wireless network. 802.1x does not define the security standard for using a service set identifier on a wireless router. Okay. 802.1x is EAPOW, WPA3 Enterprise. Okay, next. Alright, I gotta go get some more water. Use the restroom real quick. I will be back. Hey guys, sorry about that. I was enjoying Harvest Snaps a little too much. Highly recommend them. Not sponsored by Harvest Snaps in any way, shape, or form, but oh, are they good? So I was doing the tomato basil ones. So freaking good, man. And then first I grabbed myself a protein bar. But dude, yeah, Harvest Snaps, so freaking good. Mm. Mm. Yeah, sorry guys, I am loving this protein bar. It's so good. Mm. Oh man. All right. So yeah, I was just showing you guys around at my YouTube and the videos that I have there. You can like and subscribe. Also, you can support the channel by purchasing merchandise on the Jolly Red Giant store. We also have a donations page here at Feed the Flames. Just click there. Donation. Boom. All right. Sorry, guys. I was eating. It was those Harvest Snaps, man. I'm not sponsored by them, but golly, I've had those things since they first came out in like 13 or something. Super addictive. Just the regular green ones. And the lightly salted is good. And then sometimes I like the Caesar, a little, but I am always down for tomato basil. Holy cow. All right. So which authentication protocol uses a server-side certificate to establish a protected tunnel but requires user authentication methods to use Microsoft Challenge Handshake Authentication Protocol version 2, MS Chat version 2, or generic token card, that is PEAP. Protected Extensible Authentication Protocol creates an encrypted tunnel, but only requires a server-side certificate. In this case, the user authentication method must use Microsoft Challenge Handshake Authentication Protocol version 2 or generic token card. EAP with flexible authentication. So what's this? Stop giving me field service engineer jobs. Holy cow. I'm trying to transition. Why does nobody understand this? Why does no one understand? All right, so EAP with flexible authentication via secure tunneling is similar to PEAP, but instead of using a certificate to set up the tunnel, it uses a protected access credential, which is generated for each user from the authentication server's master key. Extensible Authentication Protocol Transport Layer Security is the most widely supported protected tunnel authentication protocol, using both supplicant and server certificates. EAP tunnel TLS, EAP TTLS is similar to PEAP and can use any inner authentication protocol, PAP or CHEP, for instance. Okay, create a federation. Company A wants to share Wi-Fi access with a subsidiary. Company B, located in the same building, extensible authentication protocol is implemented at both companies using remote authentication dial-in user service, radius servers. How can both networks be configured to allow users from either company to use their company credentials to gain access? Create a federation. Remote authentication dial-in user service radius federation means that multiple organizations allow access to one another's users by joining their radius servers into a radius hierarchy or mesh. Replacing the radius solutions with terminal access controller, access control system, plus TechX Plus is not feasible. TechX Plus are usually implemented to manage switches and routers. Deploying new domain controllers will not benefit the requirement. The domain controllers for each company will remain as is, and the Radius client can route user credentials to the appropriate Radius servers. Creating a demilitarized zone for these Radius servers is not an ideal setup. Radius servers will remain at the internal local area networks and are only accessed by the remote authentication dial-in user service clients or wireless access points when necessary. Keep going. All right. What are the benefits of using Wi-Fi heat maps for wireless networks? Select or let apply. Survey a site for signal strength. I like all of these. Find location of strong signals. Determine where to place access points. No? It must have been all four. It had to. I was like, I don't know, it can't be all four. All right, Company A wants to share Wi-Fi access with a subsidiary. Company B, located in the same building. Extensible authentication protocol is implemented at both companies using remote authentication dial-in user service, radius servers. How can both networks be configured to allow users from either company to use their company credentials to gain access? Well, they create a federation. A user purchased a home wireless router. The user was not able to connect a laptop to the wireless routers by pressing the Wi-Fi protected setup button. What can the user do to establish a proper connection with the wireless router? Enter the PIN manually, which I've done that before. Use the compatible NIC. I am sure now. Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineer 802.1x includes which of the following wireless security standards? Select and let apply. The Wi-Fi Protected Access 3 Enterprise and the EAPOW. I am sure now. What tool or resource can a network administrator use to find rogue hardware wireless access points? A heat map might be good. A Wi-Fi analyzer. I'm going to go with the Wi-Fi analyzer. Boom. The company uses Wi-Fi protected access wireless security on their wireless access points. Use lightweight, forget what EAP stands for, Extensible Authentication Protocol, to authenticate users to the network. Lightweight Extensible Authentication Protocol is vulnerable to password cracking. What other options does the company have to mitigate this vulnerability? Let's see, can we use Wi-Fi protected access? Okay, so not a radius federation. I think it would be PEAP and EAP fast. Boom. Next. An employee wants to check their corporate email, so they call for support by connecting a Windows 10 laptop to the airport's free Wi-Fi. The wireless network adapter on the laptop seems connected, but email and other web services are not functioning or updating. What reason supports the employee's inability to connect to the internet properly? So I'm going to go with did not authenticate to the airport's web portal and laptops authenticate. I'm going to go with did not authenticate to the airport's web portal. Boom. Which of the following settings provide the highest possible level of security compatible Wi-Fi protected access version 2 at home? Select all that apply. That's 3. I want to say that's 3 as well, so I'm going to say it's these two. Nope. It was all 4. Doggone it. Should have gone with all 4. It's like, no, they never do all 4. Never. That's not true. All right. What are the benefits of using Wi-Fi heat maps for wireless networks? Select all that apply. Survey a site for signal strength. Determine which channels overlap. Find location of strong signals. Determine where to place access points. A heat map can show where a signal is strong, red, or weak, green, blue, and which channel is being used and how they overlap. A site survey is used to measure signal strength and channel usage throughout an area. This can be determined by using a heat map. A site survey starts with an architectural map of the site. Wi-Fi requires 20 megahertz of channel space. Reading the heat map can ensure adequate channel spacing between each access point to reduce channel interference. Location of access points, especially those using the same channel, will compete for bandwidth. A heat map can determine weak spots so devices can be physically spaced out. Oh my gosh. Which of the following settings provide the highest possible level of security compatible Wi-Fi protected access version 2? At home, select all that apply. AES, CCMP, and PSK. Pre-shared key is a common security setting for consumer wireless routers that allows users to enter a password to access the wireless network. This can be changed to a more complex key or password. Advanced encryption standard counter mode with cipher blockchain messaging. Message authentication protocol code protocol AES CCMP is a standard encryption algorithm compatible with Wi-Fi protected access 2. Enhanced Open is a feature of Wi-Fi protected access version 3 that enables. Okay, so that was 3. That enables encryption for the open authentication method. Simultaneous authentication of equals is a feature of Wi-Fi protected access 3 that replaces Wi-Fi protected access 4-way handshake authentication and association mechanism with a protocol based on the Diffie-Hellman key agreement. All right, which authentication protocol uses a server-side certificate to establish a protected tunnel? What requires user authentication methods to use Microsoft Challenge Handshake Authentication Protocol version 2, MS CHAP version 2, or generic token card? PEAP. Next. Enterprise wireless solutions should use which of the following when configuring wireless access points? enterprise wireless solutions. Radius and controllers. Look at that. Which authentication protocol requires both a server and client-side public certificate? PEAP. Wrong. A user in an office usually connects to the company's Wi-Fi, but is currently out of service. The user connects. The building's free. Wireless access point and enters a personal password at the prompt, but is still unable to connect. Analyze the scenario and determine the reason the user is unable. They must use a pre-shared key. Company A wants to share Wi-Fi access with a subsidiary company B located in the same building. Accessible authentication protocol is implemented at both companies using remote authentication dial-in user service. How can both networks be configured to allow users from either company to use their company credentials to gain access? They create a federation. Network administrator enables Wi-Fi protected access and Wi-Fi protected access 2 on a Cisco wireless local area network controller. 802.1x is also enabled. How will the network admin complete setup for the enterprise mode? I think they need to confirm enterprise option is checked. No? Oh, that's a bummer. A user purchased a home wireless router. The user was not able to connect a laptop to the wireless router by pressing the Wi-Fi protected setup button. What can the user do to establish a proper connection with the wireless router? They can use the compatible NIC and enter the PIN manually. I am sure about this. When setting up a secure authentication line for supplicants in an authentication server, extensible authentication protocol tunnel, transport layer security AP to TLS is not working as an authentication mechanism when using protocol extension, extensible authentication protocol. Proper authentication occurs and network connection is established. Why is PEAP a better option in this case? Okay, which authentication protocol requires both a server and client-side public certificate? EAP TLS. Sensible authentication protocol with transport layer security requires a server and client-side public key certificate. An encrypted TLS tunnel is established between the supplicant and authentication server using this method. Simultaneous authentication of equals is a secure password-based authentication and key agreement method used in wireless protected access version 3. Protected extensible authentication protocol only requires a server-side public certificate, public key certificate. Put public in it twice. EAP with flexible authentication via secure tunneling does not use certificates but a protected access credential. Okay. EAP fast uses the protected access credential, which is generated for each user from the authentication server's master key. Next. A network administrator enables Wi-Fi protected access and Wi-Fi protected access 2 on a Cisco wireless. Local area network controller 802.1x is also enabled. How will the network admin complete setup for enterprise mode? Enter secret key for radius server, but they're using a Cisco wireless system. Well, that's confusing. I guess they kind of diversified and used a radius server plus the Cisco wireless local area network controller instead of the TechX plus. Okay, so I'm going to enter secret key for radius server. A remote access dial-in user server is required to complete the 802.1x setup. The wireless controller connects to the Radius server with a shared secret key, then credentials can be properly authenticated. 802.1x implementation on a controller is an enterprise configuration. Some devices will show an 802.1x or enterprise option. In this case, the enterprise option is enabled. 802.1x uses extensible authentication protocol. Authentication, there is no need to select it since 802.1x is already enabled. The extensible authentication protocol mechanism passes credentials to the remote access dial-in user server. Open configuration or open authentication of a wireless client or controller does not require authentication. Traffic is also sent in plain view, which is not a secure option to use. Okay. When setting up a secure authentication line for supplicants and authentication server, extensible authentication protocol, tunnel of layers, transport layers security is not working as an authentication mechanism. When using protected extensible authentication protocol, proper authentication occurs and network connection is established. Why is protected extensible authentication protocol a better option in this case? Ooh, it's lunchtime. Compatibility with MS Chat. All right, guys. I am going to go have lunch, and I will be back after lunch. Again, if you guys want to support me, on the page here, we've got the store where you can buy merchandise. We've got the YouTube channel that you can like and subscribe to. You can follow me. And you can also check out my wife's YouTube page, like and subscribe that. And yeah, like if you guys want to help support the channel, that would be greatly appreciated. Thank you so much. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.